Turbo. Hey guys, today we're going to be redoing some of the code that was out of date, and we're going to be revisiting the topic state machines since it's a really popular video that we have, and it is probably, in my opinion, one of the most useful things you will use as a game developer. Without state machines, all of my projects would be in shambles. So let's get into it. So I made a new Turbo file with Turbo in it, and it now spits you out this, which is just a normal game state struct, a lib.rs file, and then the impl for that game state with a public function new and a public function update. Also, a little side tangent here, but related to the video, is I've written a GitHub repo on the state machine, and I'll be pulling some copy and pastes from that. If you're watching this, there'll be a link in the description. You can follow along on that GitHub repo. Anyway, jumping back to it, we're going to start off with adding in a new file. So for those that don't know, you can add a new file if you go to the src folder in your Visual Studio Code. You can add a new file here, and I'm going to name mine State.rs. This generates a new file for us to use, and my actual first step should have been running it. If you're using Turbo and you're new to it, a very good kind of like workflow to get into is going to be running your project and then saving and reloading and seeing that in real time. So I'm going to run my state machine. It's a brand new project here, so nothing's in there. So we'll keep this here to just have it there so you can see the updates as they're coming along. If you're working on a game, I'd recommend this. But anyway, jumping back to the State.rs here, we're going to add a line of code to the top of it here that allows it to be recognized by the lib.rs, and I'm going to grab that from my GitHub repo, and that line of code is use crate : star semicolon. Just you put that at the top. I also personally like to do this, so I just know what my file is if I'm ever at the top of it. Little habit of mine. Anyway, so that use crate is really important to state machine, and so like I can save that here with I'm on Mac, so it's Command S. If you're on Windows, it's Control S. You can save that, and then we need actually a second piece to that puzzle here, and it's going to be in lib.rs, and we're going to do 2 lines of code, and it's going to be mod and use. So I'm going to grab that right here, use state, mod state. And the reason why we use state here is because I've named my file state. So I've used state, mod state, I'm going to save that. So now this file that I have here is kind of enabled. Step 2 is just going to be something really simple. We're just adding some fields into this, and we're going to add in a frames field, and it's going to be U32, and we're going to add in a screen field, and we're going to initialize that as screen. Now I don't have it yet because it'll be the next step, but I will initialize frames as 0, and I'll initialize screen as screen title. And again, I don't have this yet, so let's jump into that next. Let's add a enum for screen. Enums are pretty simple. I'm going to, again, cheat off of my GitHub repo here, and I'm going to grab this public enum screen right here. And so I will put it in right below this, and it'll just, whenever you add in an enum or a struct, you're going to need to put this turbo serialize above it. So make sure you do that. You can see here my enum has title, it has loading, it has game, and so those are the 3 states that we are going to kind of flip between in this tutorial. Just keep it really simple. Now, next up, we are going to actually add the state machine itself, and I just call it state of game. You could call it state machine if you want. When I first made this, I called it state of game, and so I've always stuck with that. So still in the State.rs here, we're going to add in public function state of game. And for the enum and for the function, it is important that they remain public so lib.rs can use it. Now I have the public function state of game, I have the public enum screen. In lib.rs, I have my game state initializing screen and frames, and then in the new portion of the game state impl, I have frames being set to 0 and screen being set to title. Let's go ahead and save this over here and save this over here, and it doesn't look like I'm returning any errors, which is good. If I go ahead and grab this, nothing has changed because I'm not actually displaying anything yet, but that's going to be the next step here, is going to display and show you the power of a state machine. So I'm going to jump down again into my GitHub repo, and I'm going to update the state of game to actually have some substance in it. So I'm going to take this, I'm going to remove it, and I've added in a little bit of my own code, like a title screen, stuff like that. And before I save it, I need to add into the update loop of gamestate the actual function. So I need to do state of game, and then instead of state, I'm going to use self. And then I'm going to save that, and I'm going to save the state, and then I'm going to show you over here that now we actually have some stuff displaying. We have stuff displaying because in these different states, and title, and loading, and game, I've added text. I've added, I think it's just text here, but I've added ways to change the state. So gamepad press, and text, and whatnot. Now, the frames that I have, like the frames we initialized here, you don't need those. I would recommend having them. It's very good to have frames in any project you're working on, but you don't need them to make this work. You could make the scenes transition in a completely different way, but the way I wanted to show you in this demo is being a little bit more than just tapping the button. So here we are on the title screen. It says press Z to begin. I'm going to press Z to begin, and then now, after a certain accumulation of frames, it will enter that loading screen, start accumulating frames, and then go over into the game screen. Now I have added in a little kind of like rebound here to where I can go back. So if I hit B or X, then I can go back to the title screen and I can repeat it all again. So the reason why this is so powerful and this is so important when you're developing is because in your title here and your loading and your game or whatever you want, you can kind of keep that code separate. So whatever happens in the title is happening in the title. If you need to jump back to it, you can. If you need to go to, let's say, like a shop menu or a game menu or a combat menu or like an EXP menu, whatever it may be, you could add those in. And below game, you could add combat, you could add EXP. You just have to add into the state of game function. You can do one of two things. You can add in all of those screens, so you can do like screen, combat, and then you could do the whole this, and you could have that. Or if you plan on adding a lot more enum variants, then you can just add this little underscore, you can do this guy, and then now it will account for any new ones that you add. So if I were to add in, let's say like shop, let's say travel, let's say, I'm trying to think of some off the top of my head, let's say level up, then now if I save those, I don't have to add them in. This kind of encompasses all. So that's State Machine, guys. I love State Machines. I use them all the time. They are incredibly useful. I would recommend absolutely using them. And when you kind of get to like a higher level with it, you can have your display happening in your State Machine, and then you could have your controls kind of happening over in the update function, and everything gets really clean, and you're writing good code that you can come back to and adjust, and it just stays clean as your project expands. It's incredibly modular, and changing states is as easy as setting a trigger. In my instance, the most basic one would be a gamepad press and then setting the state screen equal to whatever screen I need to get to. And that can go both ways. You can click B and you can go back. So that's State Machines. Thanks guys for watching. We had an old State Machine video, but I wanted to kind of go through and update that code to be on a more recent build of Turbo. Thanks guys. Check out our other tutorials. Let me know in the comments what other videos you would want me to redo quickly enough. I think next up we'll probably take a look at inventory system, and then I'll kind of do a video on the workflow of using Turbo. Hope you guys all have a wonderful day. Turbo.